Welcome back to the 2 Minute Warning, you guys. I think we're on about episode 229, 230, something like that. Super excited to bring you guys this video today. Doing an AFC playoff picture conversation right now. There are 5 teams with the Titans, Dolphins, Ravens, Browns, and Colts that are at 10-5, fighting for that playoff spot. This fourth wild card, 7th seed edition this year for the playoffs has made things super interesting, and along with this, the competitiveness that the AFC has brought this year. So many teams that are playoff caliber, but one of them isn't going to make it. Also, we're going to touch on NFC East, the situation there. Obviously, those teams, I think the best record out of there right now is the Cowboys and the Redskins at 6-9. The Giants are 5-10, and the Eagles are 4-10-1. So obviously, none of these teams are fantastic, but it's one of them's got to win a division, and one of them's got to go to the playoffs. So we'll touch on that as well. But let's get right to it. Right now, the AFC playoff picture goes Chiefs, Bills, Steelers. Those 3 teams have already clinched a playoff spot, and then the 4 seed right now is the Titans, leading the AFC South division currently, but they haven't clinched anything yet. They could still find their way out of the playoffs if Week 17 goes poorly for them. So right now the 4 seed are Titans, Miami, the Ravens, the Browns in the 7 seed, and then the Colts right now on the outside looking in at the 8 spot. So let's start with current 5 seed Miami. What do they need to get in? Well, they need a win at Buffalo. That would lock them in a spot in these playoffs, but let's be honest, a win at Buffalo right now with the way Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are working is going to be extremely difficult. So I'm going to say that the Bills take this game. Dolphins fall to 10-6, which then puts their fate into the hands of other teams. They would then need a Colts loss, or a Ravens loss, or a Browns loss. But even with all that, I think Miami misses the playoffs. The Colts would need to lose to the Jags. I don't think it's going to happen. But for you Miami fans, don't lose hope. The Jags beat the Colts in Week 1. The only win the Jags have. They kind of tore apart Phillip Rivers, threw a lot of picks. He threw a lot of picks that game. So don't count it out. But I got Colts over the Jags. So that's not going to hit for Miami. They would need a Ravens loss to the Bengals. Again, the Bengals are 2-0 in their last 2 games over the Steelers, over the Texans. They've been putting up what they put up over 20. They put 20-something against the Bengals, but they put up over 30 on the Texans. The Bengals are hot, but I don't think they're hot enough to beat the Ravens. Right now, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are working really well, and they know how big this game is for them. So again, I got Ravens over the Bengals, so that's not going to hit for Miami either. And then they'll need a Browns loss to the Steelers, which you might say, yeah, I think that'll happen. The Steelers are a good team, whatever. They're 12-3. But they're starting a lot of their backup bench guys, whatever. Starting Mason Rudolph instead of Big Ben because, of course, they've already clinched. So I think this should be a win for the Browns. So I don't think that's going to hit either. So unfortunately, you Miami fans, I don't have Miami making it. I don't think they're going to beat the Bills. I don't think the Colts will lose to the Jags. I don't think the Ravens will lose to the Bengals. And I don't think the Browns will lose to the Steelers. So all 4 of those we're going to miss, I think, and the Dolphins aren't going to make it. Next team, the Ravens. Well, they need a win. A win would lock it in for them. Or they would need a Browns loss. Or they would need a Colts loss. So a Browns loss, again, I just spoke about that. I think the Browns are going to beat the Steelers because Mason Rudolph is starting. And I don't think the Colts are going to lose to the Jags. So I think Ravens beat Cincy. They're in. Simple as that. I think Ravens are in. They struggled early in the year. We're 6-5. We're kind of counted out for the playoffs. But I got Ravens beating the Bengals, and I think Ravens are in. The Browns, they really need a win. That's it. They need to beat the Steelers. They're in. They lose, it goes into some other mathematical shit that I don't even understand. It's not that complicated, but if you look at the schedules, whatever. If they don't win, they would need a Colts loss to the Jags. Just that's a scenario if they lose, but there's still other. Then you start looking at Texans, Titans. You go into a bunch of other stuff. So to keep it simple with the Browns, they need a win and they'll be in. And if they lose, then it's possible that they're still in, but not likely. So again, Browns need a win. The last team right now, the 8 seed, the last team worth discussing right now, the last seed in the AFC, right? Or sorry, not the last seed, but the 8 seed. The first team on the outside looking in is the Colts. If they beat the Jags, that alone gives them a 93% chance to get in, but doesn't guarantee them. If they were to beat the Jags and the Bills beat the Dolphins, then they're in 100%. Dolphins loss and a win for the Colts, and they're in. If the Colts lose, it's still not impossible they make it in. So Colts loss will drop them 10-6, but if the Colts lose, they would need the Bengals to beat the Ravens, which, again, I already said I don't think will happen, and they would need the Steelers to beat the Browns, which I don't think will happen. So, again, Colts need a win. The Colts need a Colts win and a Bills win, and they're locked in. So again, just a little recap of that. Between Miami, they win, they're in. Colts lost, they're in. Ravens lost, they're in. Or Browns lost, they're in. But I don't think they're going to hit. Ravens would need a win or Browns loss or Colts loss. I think that'll hit. Ravens are in for me. Browns need a win at home versus Pittsburgh. They're in for me. And then the Colts need a win and a Bills win. So I think they're in for me. So that leaves Colts, Ravens, and Browns, and Miami falling to that 8th spot, looking on the outside looking in. So that's my AFC playoff picture. I got Titans beating the Texans to lock in that division. So the 1, 2, 3 seed, Chiefs, Bills, Steelers already locked in. But then the 4 seed is going to stay the Titans. 5 seed is going to go to the Browns. 6 to the Ravens. And 7 to the Colts, leaving Miami at the 8th seed, unfortunately. Now, for the NFC East. We got Cowboys at 6-9, at the Giants, 5-10. Cowboys need to win, basically. If they want to make it, they need to win that game. But what really depends on, what really determines a lot is the Washington-Philly game. If Washington wins, they would go to 7-9, but they have the divisional head-to-head matchup over the Cowboys. So basically, Washington wins, they're in. If Philly wins, then it goes to the Dallas-Giants game. Winner of that is in. If the Giants were to beat the Cowboys and the Redskins were to lose, the Washington football team were to lose, the Giants would go to 6-10, but have the head-to-head over both the Cowboys and the Redskins, putting them in. If the Redskins, Washington football team, if football team loses to Philly and the Cowboys beat the Giants, Cowboys have the head-to-head over Washington. They're in. So again, Washington wins, they win the division, they're in. Washington loses, then the winner of the Cowboys and Giants game is in. That is the situation for the NFC East. And that was my AFC playoff picture, guys. Thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.